Welcome back to From the South. The series Cuba on the Move continues for the different platforms of teleSUR, focusing on the identity of the Cubans in its multi-facets. This time we dive into the world of Cuban spoken improvised poetry, the repentismo. The protagonist of the 5th episode is the young Alex Diaz Hernandez, and our correspondent Fabiola Lopez tells us his story. Let's see.
To know the life of a repentista, there is no better way than to start your story with an improvised verse. The phrase to complete this time is put by teleSUR, and it is, "The Cubans are."
Los cubanos son la fiesta.
The Cubans are the party, the Cubans are love. The Cubans are the flower that blooms in the forest. The Cubans are the orchestra and the melancholy. The Cubans are the day, the night, the spring. The Cubans are the air converting into Cubanism.
Alex says he is a young man who lives dreaming and creating projects according to what he defends: the décima, poetic improvisation, and the punto cubano. To be a repentista, do you need a special gift? Are you born with it? How is it?
It is no longer an experiment. For more than 20 years, there have been specialized schools of poetic improvisation in Cuba, and there are results. There are many young people, the young vanguard of Cuban repentismo right now. The vast majority are graduated from schools of repentismo. And then I have the duality of having the teacher at home, to dream from the poetic class constantly, and to be a graduate and teacher right now of the improvisation schools.
Alex remembers that before improvising, he would go up on stage with learned décimas with his father, the famous repentista Alex Diaz Pimienta.
I started improvising when I was 8 or 9 years old, and that's when I did my first thing. But I've been on stage since I was 4 or 5 years old, doing learned décima from school. Improvisation is being on a tightrope all the time. You can do well, you can do badly. The fear of not knowing how you are going to have your mind that day always follows you to the stage 30 seconds before starting.
Alex is one of those convinced that the décimas and poetic improvisation can be fashionable.
I think it has advanced a lot. We have a large number of young people who have approached the poetic improvisation with a different vision. There are others who don't approach it because they simply see it as something out of fashion. I think it is totally wrong and about all, seen from a generalized ignorance that there is about the declamation and improvisation.
He recognizes himself as a defender and exponent of neo-repentismo, a term that links the improvised and oral décima with other artistic manifestations, the theater, the audiovisuals, the music in all its genres.
No, I'm a lover and defender of neo-repentismo completely. I believe that the future is there. It is now that we leave aside traditional repentismo because we come from it and because it has incredible value, because it is an immortal part of humanity. But the evolution of the arts of life of the contemporary is forcing us to give a turning point and show poetic improvisation with other nuances.
Now I'm going to tell you a phrase so you can improvise. I would change in Cuba.
I would change the people who don't go out to fight. I would change the foreign play different. I stay with this atmosphere of music, sound, beat. I stay in this improvised verse that has so much past, but it won't change anymore.
At the age of 28, Alex Diaz Hernandez has a fixed idea not to let the décima and the improvised verse die under any circumstances. For this, he organizes festivals, investigates, writes scripts, directs television programs, and improvises verses to answer the questions of curious journalists. And the future of Cuba?
The future is virtuosity, the future is nervousness, the future is the road, the future is to be happy. It is simple to verse and decide, as I think that I love this country.
Fabiola Lopez, teleSUR, La Habana.